Hey everyone, my name is Shalonda and I am the owner of Express Travel Notary here in Madison, Alabama, and I am offering some free 30-minute strategy calls regarding your notary business or if you want to start a notary business. But I will send out some information for that. Just follow me on Facebook, Shalonda Pulley, and Express Travel Notary. And I'll also leave the information in the description below and in the comments. So today I wanted to go over some pros and cons about the notary business. Me personally, I was a social worker for many years in the state of Alabama, and I did a lot of home visits and different things like that. And so throughout my career as a social worker, I really seen a need for mobile notary services. There were many clients who could not, go to the bank in certain circumstances. They would be in the hospital, nursing home, different things like that. And so when I left that career and became an entrepreneur, it was something that was already on my heart. And so I decided to start a notary business. Right now, I am ranked #1 in my area on Google. Google is gold, is what I tell people. That's where I get a lot of my money. Am I gonna tell you you can become super rich or you see a lot of different things online telling you that you can make 80,000, 6 figures and different things like that. I'm not really going to sell you that dream. Is that possible? Maybe they have different people that work for them. Maybe they do a ton of closings, but realistically, you're not probably going to make that much in notary. Is it a good supplemental income? Yes, it is. It's a good supplemental income. And so I'm going to go over some of the pros and cons about a notary business to maybe, enlighten you. Maybe you're commissioned, but you really haven't moved forward because you don't, you need more clarity. Or maybe, you're not commissioned and you want to become commissioned. And so I'm going to go over some of the pros first. And so one of the pros that I do like about the notary business is it's a low startup. There's not a super ton of cost associated with starting a notary business. I would say your startup cost is, depending on your state, is going to be anywhere from maybe $350 to $350 to about $450. I mean, that can even go higher if you want to, buy a lot of accessories that you think you need, and different things like that. But realistically, especially even if you take me up on one of my strategy calls, I can really go into detail about the startup. There are a lot of things that they're going to tell you need that you don't really need, and you don't want to waste money. So anyways, one of the pros are it's low startup. You're going to have your insurance, you're going to have you're going to have to pay for your bond, your commission, different things like that, but it's not super high. So you can write that down. It's going to be about $350 to $450. Another pro with the notary business is it is your flexibility, your schedule. You can set your own hours. You can work full-time or part-time. More than likely, you're gonna do part-time and like PRN, especially when you get started, because your client base might not be super big, especially when you're first starting out. I mean, you have to really get yourself out there, handle your marketing, handle your content, handle your designs and different things like that for your marketing. So a pro would be your flexibility. You're gonna have flexibility. Now the backside of that flexibility that I'm not really crazy about, but I still have my business. I make good money in it. Is that you're gonna get a lot of calls that people have waited last minute, and a lot of your calls are going to be on the weekends, after hours, because most places that offer the notary service, they're closed. They're closed on major holidays. They're closed after 4 or 5 o'clock. They're closed on the weekends, and you're gonna get a lot of people that waited the last minute and they need a document notarized. And who are they gonna call? You, a mobile notary. Now on the backside of that, it can be a good thing because we can charge travel fees and different things like that because I'm traveling to you. Now each state does have a minimum that we can charge. Like if we had an office and people were coming to us, we could only charge here in the state of Alabama, it's $10. But of course, we make our money off of travel fees. And so if I'm getting last minute calls and I have to go to certain places, I'm going to look up that mileage. I'm going to look up where I'm going. I'm going to take a lot of things into consideration. Yes, I want their business, but my time is valuable. So I can also offer some, strategies, in your pricing, because that is very important. So many times people just really, they lowball themselves. So let's continue to go on the pros. Consistent demand. Notary's not going anywhere. It's going to be a consistent demand. Why? People are always getting married. People are always getting divorced. People are always, children are being born. Wills are being created. Healthcare proxies, power of attorneys. The legal arena is not going anywhere. So that is a really good thing. The only thing about it, I'm going to give you a con. So the consistent demand is great because of, like I said before, your real estate, your legal, your healthcare, certain business documents need a notary. On the backside of that is that it is very unpredictable. The only thing that's really predictable in the notary business is only thing that's really predictable is like the real estate market. You can kind of look at real estate, and I know right now they're saying like rates are getting ready to drop. So you're gonna have a lot of people buying, and you're gonna have a lot of people refinancing. So if you're a loan signing agent, which I am, I don't do a ton of them. I'm not crazy about them, but they make money. I prefer general notary work, but I'll get into that later. You can kind of see when a possible refinance wave is going to hit. And a lot of people, if they, purchase their house at an interest rate of 10%, 8%, and the rates are getting ready to go down to 5%, 4%, they're definitely going to want to refi. And usually with refi, the title companies, they need notaries. And so the pro with the consistent demand is that it's not going anywhere. The con is that it is very sporadic and unpredictable. You have no idea when somebody's getting a divorce. You have no idea when somebody's going to get married. Well, I would say marriage certificates, you can kind of know, like most people, a lot of people like to get married, what I've experienced in spring, summer, and fall. I haven't got a ton of marriage certificates in the winter. So that is somewhat predictable, but a lot of the other stuff like the divorces, people getting sick and, really realizing I need a will. They're kind of like life changes. And so sometimes they can be very hard to predict. So the pro is the consistent demand. The con is that demand can be consistently crazy. You may not know when you're going to get a wave of calls and people wanting things done. So just take that into consideration. Okay, and as I expressed before, this is another pro, is that you're going to have mobile opportunities. You can charge a premium for traveling to your clients' locations and increasing your potential earnings. That is great. It is a scalable business. This is another pro. Over time, you can expand your services to loan signings, fingerprint printing, document preparation. I do offer printing. Sometimes I do run into people that they don't have their document printed. They have it on a PDF or something like that. And so I do have a printer. I can share that later on, the type of printer that I have. It was pretty pricey, but you want to get a laser jet printer. You don't want to get a little printer with regular ink, because if you're going to be printing, you want to get the bang for your buck. In the laser jet, I mean, you won't have to buy ink for maybe a year or so, depending on how much you're printing, of course. But I've had it for a while and I haven't had to do anything with the ink cartridges, which is great. It is a scalable business. We went over that, okay, and it's no degree required. So even my daughter, she's a college student, and so we are looking at to get her commissioned while she's in school, and she can market herself and she can make money, and she's not really pigeonholed into selling her hours for money versus the notary. I mean, I've received notary calls to where I was able to make, I would say my highest would probably be around probably $300 to $400 for a notary call. And notary, I mean, you have to take in consideration your travel time, but I mean, that was like maybe a couple hours, and I was walking out with $300 to $400. And so it's very, it can be very lucrative in that aspect. And so there's no degree required. You just have to be commissioned. Here in the state of Alabama now, you do have to take it's like an exam or a quiz or test through the probate court. But after you do that and you go through all your steps, it's not like you have to go to college. It's not like it takes a super long time. There's no degree required, and you really have to train yourself. That's why a lot of people do offer notary mentoring and notary coaching, because you need insight. And you don't want to make mistakes that are very costly, especially if you already didn't have that background experience, or that experience through another avenue, as far as you worked for a law firm or you worked in some type of legal services arena. Like me, for instance, I did work with a lot of elder law attorneys in the arena of social workers with the Department of Human Resources. So I already had some insight knowledge, which didn't make it as intimidating. Because if you just jump out here and you're not really familiar with the legal arena, and different things like that, it can be very, very intimidating, and you need clarity. A lot of times we need clarity. We may know what to do, but we need that confirmation to help us move forward. It's a great supplemental income. This is another pro. Great supplemental income. You can do your notary business with another business, another job. And so like me, I have another business. I have a lawn and landscaping business. I am getting ready to launch my business consulting business as well. And I really can just put my notary services under that professional service umbrella. So we're going to recap on these pros. Pros are low startup cost, flexible schedule, consistent demand, mobile opportunity, scalable business. It's a scalable business, no degree required, and it's a great supplemental income. I would say my highest months, in revenue for notary would probably be, let me say the lowest. The lowest probably be about like $500. The highest, I believe, was about $1,500. So that's not bad. I mean, if you got a mortgage, if you got a car note, you can pay for that, and you're not selling a lot of your time to reap the revenue that you need, versus like a job where you go in there and you're pigeonholed into $15 to $20 an hour. This is not like that. So that is a big plus for me. I really enjoy that. Okay, let's go over some cons, and I'm gonna be really realistic with you. Of course, there's a lot of laws. You want to be very careful. You do want to be educated. You want to do all that. You definitely want some errors and omission. You want some insurance to help you with any mistakes, to mitigate any type of risk. When you're notarizing documents, we don't want any type of legal consequences. So the requirements can be, and they can change from state to state. There are liability risks that we just talked about. You want to make sure you're notarizing documents correctly. You want to make sure that your verified people are who they say they are. That's a really scary thing. You don't want to, I know I don't want to sell nobody. Well, not me personally, but I don't want to perform a notarial act and it's somebody's car, somebody's house, and they're not who they say they are. Um, so it is. It's a serious business. It's a serious job. Market competition. Depending on your area, there can be a lot of competition. There can be hardly any competition. Me, like I said, I really market myself, but that's because I really have a business mind to market myself. Everybody doesn't, and that's okay. You know, we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses, but there is a lot of there can be a lot of competition. Your area could be saturated, and so that's why I say even as far as your revenue goals or the money you want to make, we really have to be realistic because I can sit up here and say, oh, you can make $1,500 a month, you can make $2,000 a month, but at the end of the day, it's all about your area. I'm in a pretty prosperous area. The real estate market is great. There's a lot of determining factors in that. So, if you ever want to set up a coaching session, we can go over all of this so you don't waste your time or your money, buying things you don't need and just thinking that you're going to receive the revenue that you want. That is not, it may not be realistic for your service area. So yeah, there can be competition, but if you're really called to do a notary business, I wouldn't worry about the competition. Competition just should make you better. It shouldn't, deter you or stop you from moving forward. Okay, let's see here. We already kind of went over irregular income and time sensitive demand. So the irregular income, like this month, it's been very slow. This is the month of December. I just think that people are not really worried about some of these legalities, these documents, legal documents. People are probably not, real estate maybe. Well, I just talked to a realtor not too long ago, and I guess a lot of people do still buy around this time, but I don't know if the title companies, what's all going. And I don't do a ton of loan closings, but I can do them. I am familiar with them. But as far as the other aspects, notary's been kind of slow in December. So that's irregular. So it is very important to have another stream of income coming in, or if you're retired, this is a really good thing for, like I said, young people or someone who's retired and you already have income coming in and you just want to add to it. So yes, and so me, I have another business. I have about 3 streams of income. I don't limit myself to notary work. So irregular income, time sensitive demands, like I previously stated. You're gonna get calls. I know one time I got a call, I was laying in the bed. Do you have to accept these calls? No, you don't. It was completely up to me. I could have not, I do have a business phone and a personal phone. I separate that. And so I got a call one evening. I was in the bed. It was like 9 o'clock at night. And they wanted me to notarize their marriage certificate. And I'm like, why did you wait until 9 o'clock at night? But the perk about that is travel fees and whatever else that, is permissible when someone calls you that late outside of business hours. So, time sensitive, that's one thing you really have to get used to. You have to be ready to answer that phone because a lot of people don't schedule appointments for notary. Marriage certificates, they do usually schedule, which is great, but most people know they're just calling you. Like, I could be making this video, I could get a call right now. It's just so sporadic. So, that can be demanding. So be ready for that. And then, and I already expressed this, it is really dependent upon your local market. Your notarial services really depend heavily on your location and your nearby industries. And so that's something that we could really look into to make sure it would be a profitable business for you to where, you can see if it's worth it. In the long run, I enjoy it. I like it. It is good money. But, I want to be completely realistic. I'm not going to tell you you're going to become a millionaire or you can just quit your job and just notarize documents all day. That's not what I've experienced. If other people have experienced that, I don't know. Maybe they tapped into a really big title company or something, and I'm not sure. But I'm going to be completely realistic with you. Your first couple years of business, depending on your market, I mean, like I said, you could make $300 a month. You can maybe make $2,000 a month on a good month. I'm not going to sell you a dream. I want to be realistic with you. And so this is what I've experienced. And I've been doing this for about 3 years. And I am ranked #1 in my area on Google. Google is the #1 search engine in the United States. Most people, if they're looking for any type of service, any type of notary, any type of business, they're usually going on Google. With the exception to some maybe professional service businesses or marketing or something like that. But definitely for a notary, they're going to go on Google because they physically need you to come to them. There are ways to perform electronic notarial acts. I really have not tapped off into that. That is a software you have to, it's like a subscription. And so I'm not very, that's not something I'm interested in right now. You can definitely look into that if you're interested. So, okay, I hope I've answered all your questions. I am going to, like I previously mentioned, offer some things. I am offering a few, maybe 5 or 6 free strategy calls where you can talk to me personally. We will meet up on Google Meet, and we can do a video chat, or if you just want to have a teleconference, that's fine as well. All right, Shalonda with Express Travel Notary here in Madison, Alabama. Thank you. You have a great day. Bye-bye.